everybody, welcome. It's happy holidays and Merry Christmas from all of us here at TST Total Sports Talk. I am Andrew Rogers, your host. As you can see in the Christmas decor, I am ready to go for the holidays. It is Tuesday, December the 19th. We are only 6 days away till Christmas, and I cannot be more excited. I love this time of year, Christmas time of year. Everything family related is just amazing. This will be especially nice for my boy, who will get to experience it for the first full time. He was only 4 months old the last year, but this year he's much older now and he's much more curious, and I'm really interested to see how he's going to relate interact with all of my extended cousins and my little one. There's a lot of them. He's the 25th out of all the cousins on my mom's side. It's absolutely crazy, but we love it. Every year, Christmas traditions, they're just amazing. So I'm really excited for him, and I'm really excited in general because I love this time of year. Apart from the snow and the treacherous driving conditions and the shoveling and all that fun stuff. But that's okay. You know what? I press on. No big deal. Yes, and I also love this time of year. As you can see, the getup, and as you can see, the mustache is still in play. However, the next time you see me, it will be gone. This is our last episode before I take a little Christmas hiatus, just so I can enjoy the holidays. And hopefully I'll be able to put out another episode in a couple of weeks. I'm aiming for the 2nd of January. To have an episode up around that date. So keep that in mind. There'll be no episode next week, but that's okay. I'll be back and stronger than ever. We have a great show, and we want to kick it off, though, with a little bit of announcement. The other reason why I love this time of year is because it's World Junior time. Oh, yeah, baby. It's World Junior time. Love Team Canada, love to get behind them, and love to be able to support them through their World Junior quest to gold. Last year, they came up short in the shootout, losing to Team USA. This year, it's our year, okay? All right, it's our year, Team Canada. Team Canada announcing this past week their 22-man roster for the tournament. Here it is for you now. Introducing for Team Canada, in goal, from the Everett Silvertips, Carter Hart of the WHL. From Colgate University of the NCAA, Colton Point. On defense, from the Calgary Hitmen of the WHL, Jake Bean. From the Brandon Wheat Kings of the WHL, you have Cal Clegg. From Boston University of the NCAA, Dante Fabro. From Kelowna Rockets of the WHL, Cal Foote. From the Montreal Canadiens and the lone NHL representative, Victor Mete. From the University of Massachusetts of the NCAA, Cal Makar. And from Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds of the Ontario Hockey League, Connor Timmins. Up front from the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, representing Cape Breton, is Drake Batherson. From the Victoriaville Tigers of the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, we have Maxime Comtois. From the Kelowna Rockets of the WHL, we have Dylan Dubé. From the London Knights of the Ontario Hockey League, Alex Formenton. From your own Sound Attack of the OHL is Jonah Gadjevic. From the Moose Jaw of the WHL, Brett Howden. From the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds of the Ontario Hockey League, Boris Kachuk. From the Sarnia Sting of the Ontario Hockey League and is the OHL overall points leader, Jordan Kyrou. From the Mississauga Steelheads of the Ontario Hockey League, Michael McLeod. From the Erie Otters of the OHL, Taylor Radish. From the Regina Pats of the WHL, Sam Steele. From Swift Current of the WHL, Tyler Steenbergen. And finally, from the London Knights of the Ontario Hockey League, Robert Thomas. Yeah, so it's an unbelievable roster. There's a lot of excellent talent on this Team Canada team. Team Canada, they've run their camp already. The World Juniors will take place in Buffalo from the 26th of December to January 5th. Their first game is Boxing Day against the Finns. It goes at 4 o'clock p.m. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I'm stoked. You should be stoked. On the show today, we got a great program. We got Hawk Talk, all things Winter Hawks. We got reports on the Owen Sound Attack, Toronto Maple Leafs, Toronto Raptors, the NFL, and of course, what we like to do every week on the show is feature a TST sports movie pick of the week. However, with the holidays right 6 days away, Christmas 6 days away, I, Andrew Rogers, the host of TST, will present to you my top 10 Christmas movies recommendations just for you, the viewer. We'll be right back after this with Hawk Talk. Stick around. TST Total Sports Talk presents Hawk Talk, brought to you by Gord's Imprints and Design. New location opening at 685 Goderich Street in downtown Port Elgin in the fall of 2017. Visit www.gordsimprints.com for more. Welcome back to the program, everybody. Andrew Rogers here, your host at TST. This is Hawk Talk for the Saugon Shores Winterhawks, all things Winterhawks. This past week, it's been an up and down season for the Saugon Shores Winterhawks. They were up against their toughest test of the season this past week, as they had two games, one against the Clinton Radars and one against the Lucknow Lancers. Here are those game recaps for you. It's the Saugon Shores Winterhawks and the Clinton Radars from the Plex in Port Elgin. The Clinton Radars managed to stay undefeated on the season as they moved to 12-0 on the year with a 4-2 victory over the Saugon Shores Winterhawks. Winterhawks dropped to 5-6-1 on the season. Goaltender Jeff Flagler took the loss for the Winterhawks. He made 35 saves, while goaltender Mark Nother of the Clinton Radars made 24 saves for the victory. Scoring for your Saugon Shores Winterhawks were Nick Quaid with his second of the season and Brent McDermott with his second. Adding assists were Brian Kazarian, Blake Underwood, Curtis Johnson for the Winterhawks. For the Clinton Radars, Tyler Doig and Luke Vick both had a goal and an assist on the night, while Sean Conzit and Kyle Flemington each added a goal apiece for the Radars. Radars, like I say, improving to 12-0 so far this season. Finally, it was the Saugon Shores Winterhawks visiting Lucknow to take on the Lucknow Lancers. And the Saugon Shores Winterhawks would explode in this one as they outscored the Lucknow Lancers 10-1 is the final. Saugon Shores improving to 6-6-1 on the season, while the Lancers dropped to 1-10-1 on the year. Goaltender Matt Tootin made the start in this one, made 28 saves for the victory. Meanwhile, Lucknow split the goalie duties. It was Ben Nelson starting for the Lucknow Lancers. He allowed 6 goals on 21 shots before giving way to Nathan Watson, who stopped 12 of 16 the rest of the way. Scoring the only goal for the Lucknow Lancers in this one was Nick Going. He had the goal. It was assisted by Chase Chapman and Mitch Kuke. They had the assist on that one. For the Saugon Shores Winterhawks, they had scores in bunches. Brian Kazarian led the way with 3 goals and an assist, his 4th, 5th, and 6th on the season. While newcomer Miles McLean also recorded 4 points, 3 goals and an assist. Those are goals 5, 6, and 7 for Miles on the season. James McKay added his 2nd and 3rd on the year, while Josh Hopkin had led the Winterhawks with 5 points in the game, including his 5th of the season. He added 4 assists. Player of the Week from this past week's episode of TST, Andy Fraze, had a goal and 3 assists for the Winterhawks. Adding assists in the game were Connor Patton with 3, Jay Thompson with 2, Blake Underwood with 1, Chris King with his first point of the season with an assist, and Alex Kuntz with an assist in the game as well. Scoring was aplenty for the Saugon Shores Winterhawks. Looking at your WOA schedule results for this past weekend, on Friday, December 15th, it was the Shallow Lake Crushers over the Lucknow Lancers 3-2. Milverton defeated Elora 5-3. Petrolia upending Huron East Centenaires 6-2. Tilsonburg falling to the Durham Thundercats 6-5. And of course, the Clinton Radars defeating the Saugon Shores Winterhawks 4-2. Moving to Saturday, December the 16th, it was the Shallow Lake Crushers over the Huron East Centenaires 8-5. Milverton defeated the Tavistock Royals in a barn burner 4-3. The Saugon Shores Winterhawks defeating Lucknow 10-1. And finally, it was Shelburne Muskies over the Ripley Wolves 6-3 was the final. Looking now at your senior or OAA Senior AA Men's League standings. The Clinton Radars lead the way at 12-0-0 on the season, good for 24 points. The Tilsonburg Thunder at 22 points. They are 10-3-2 on the season. The Ripley Wolves are at number 3. They are 10-3-0. While the Durham Thundercats are number 4 at 9-3-0. The Shelburne Muskies at 8-5-0 are number 5. While the Petrolia Squires at 8-8-0 are number 6. The Shallow Lake Crushers at 8-8-0 are number 7. While your Winterhawks are in number 8 at 6-6-1 on the year. They are 2 points better than a number 9 seed Huron East Centenaires, who are at 5-8-1 on the season. While the Milverton four-wheel drives are at number 10, they are 5-7-0 on the season. Rounding out your bottom 3 are the Tavistock Royals, the Lucknow Lancers, and the Elora Rocks. Looking now at your Winterhawks leading scorers top 10, Miles McLean, newcomer, has been on fire since he joined the squad. He is up to 7 goals and 6 assists for 13 points on the season. He is joined there by Josh Hopkin. His 5-point night helped him vault into the tied for the lead. He has 5 goals and 8 assists on the season. Trent Hawk has 4 goals and 11 assists. He is tied with Connor Patton with 3 goals and 8 assists. They both have 11 points. Chris Menard and Brian Kazarian are tied at 10, while Andy Mitchell, Brent McDermott, and Blake Underwood are all tied at 8 points apiece. And Lachlan Elder is the 10th, rounds out the top 10. He has 1 goal and 6 assists, good for 7 points. Looking now at your WOA upcoming schedule for this upcoming weekend. Friday, December 22nd, we have the Winterhawks at the Plex. They take on the Durham Thundercats. That's an 8:30 start. The Shelburne Muskies are in Elora to take on the Elora Rocks. That's an 8:30 start. And the Clinton Radars are into Petrolia to face off against the Petrolia Squires at 8:30. Saturday, December 23rd, it's the Lucknow Lancers at the Ripley Wolves. That's at 7 o'clock. And the Clinton Radars at the Huron East Centenaires at 7:30. Here now is our TST Saugeen Shores Winterhawks player profile of the week.
Nick Quaid, currently reside in Hepworth. I would have to say I don't have a specific memory, but just 3 years that we won it in a row here. I don't think that compares to much else that I've accomplished in my hockey career. So
that was pretty awesome for you.
Yeah. I would have to say this is probably going back over 10 years ago, maybe closer to 15. But we were playing in overtime in Wingham, and it was a fresh flooded ice. And I scored an overtime goal, but there was a guy like slightly offside. Oh, no. So, and I started doing like the kayak down the ice, getting soaked, and yeah, the goal didn't count. So that's probably my most embarrassing.
That would suck.
I'd say not that the friendships are going to end, but it's a lot easier getting together with guys. You know, if there's an excuse to go to the rink for practice or games, you're going to go out after for few refreshments, and I think it'll be harder to get together with the guys that you played with for a lot of years. So, yeah, I played here for this will be my 9th year, so I think I'll miss it once I'm done.
Miss the guys.
Yeah.
Hang on. That's and we'll go from there. First question: former NHLer and Purdue native Brent McLean was drafted in the 2nd round, 32nd overall in the 07 draft. Who did he get drafted to?
Coyotes.
Attaboy. Yes, Phoenix. Correct. Which 3 components make up the Gordie Howe hat trick?
Goal, assists, and a fight.
Attaboy. Good job. Right on. Let's go to the next page here. This former NHLer was on the cover of EA Sports Game NHL 2004.
2004. Wow. I wasn't playing video games in 2004. Pass. I don't
Danny
know.
Heatley.
Okay.
Thrashers.
Okay.
Timu Solani holds the rookie record for goals in a season with 76. Who did he score them with?
Anaheim?
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg. Okay,
Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Right. How many WOA senior men's championships have the Winterhawks won since they've come back into the league?
4.
Attaboy. Good job. And last question. Spell the word Zamboni.
Zamboni.
Attaboy. Good job.
I think it's a great organization, so I'm pretty proud to be a part of the Winterhawks organization. And yeah, like I said, I played here for this will be my 9th year, so proud to be a Winterhawk. It means a lot to me.
Yes, indeed. Defenseman Nick Quaid is our TST player profile for this week's edition of Hawk Talk. The Saugeen Shores Winterhawks, they have a game coming up. Like I said, here's their upcoming schedule for the next couple games that they're on tap for. They face the Durham Thundercats at 8:30 p.m. at the Plex this Friday, December the 22nd. The following week, they are at the Plex again, Friday, December the 29th, where they will entertain the Ripley Wolves. That is also an 8:30 start. This has been this week's edition of Hawk Talk. We will be right back after this with the Owen Sound Attack report. Also coming up later in the program, I give you my Christmas movies top 10 recommendation list. Stick around for that. We'll be right back. TST Total Sports Talk presents the Owen Sound Attack report. Ho, ho, ho! Welcome back, everybody. Andrew Rogers here for TST Total Sports Talk. Thank you very much for joining me, and hope you're enjoying the program thus far. Woohoo! Ho, ho, ho! Yes, it is the holiday season, and I'm jacked, as you can tell. We've reached the program where we talk now about the Owen Sound Attack. They had their last 3 games before the Christmas break, and to say it went well, I don't know if I could say that. Let's have a look at your game recaps. It was the Owen Sound Attack into Barrie to face off against the Barrie Colts. They would be on the losing end of this one. 6-4 was the final in favor of the Barrie Colts. They improved to 18-10, 2-1 on the season, while the Attack fall to 14-12, 1-3. Matt Guzda of the Owen Sound Attack made 29 saves in the loss, while Leo Lazarev of the Barrie Colts made 30 saves in the victory. Scoring for your Owen Sound Attack, they had 4 different goal scorers. Aiden Dudas scored his 16th, Chase Campbell his 3rd, Jacob Friend with his 3rd, and Ethan Zapula with his 4th. Newcomer Daniil Verti had his first point as a Winterhawk. It was an assist in the game in the loss. For the Barrie Colts, putting up points were Andrei Svechnikov. He had a hat trick in the game. Lucas Chiodo had a goal in the game, while Justin Murray also added a single. Alexei Lipanov had 3 assists. Also on the score sheet for the Barrie Colts in this one was forward Aaron Luchuk. Now, prior to the game, the Windsor Spitfires dealt Aaron Luchuk to the Barrie Colts for 6'8" forward, 232-pounder center Curtis Douglas, Sudbury's 2nd round pick in 2021, and Barrie's 2nd round in 2022, and a 3rd rounder in 2024 for the Windsor Spitfires sniper. Aaron Luchuk had a goal and 2 assists in this one. He was huge, and he should provide a huge boost to the Barrie Colts the rest of the way. Aaron Luchuk currently sits 2nd in OHL scoring, which we'll get to in a moment. Attack continuing their week with a stop back at the Bayshore. They welcomed in the Kingston Frontenacs in the Eastern Conference to the Bayshore, but it was unfulfilling. Kingston coming out with a victory. 2-1 was the final in this one via the shootout. The Kingston Frontenacs improved to 17-9, 3-3 on the year, while the Owen Sound Attack dropped to 14-12, 1-4. Kingston goaltender Jeremy Helvig was very busy and very good in the game. He made 36 saves. Linus Nyman would provide the only goal in regulation for the Kingston Frontenacs. It was his 12th. For the Owen Sound Attack, Ethan Zapula, his 5th of the year, was assisted by Marino Moro and Jacob Friend. In the shootout, Nick Suzuki and Aiden Dudas missed on the shootout, while Matt Hotchkiss and Jason Robertson would convert for the Frontenacs, giving them the victory in this one. Goaltender Olivier Lafreniere of the Owen Sound Attack, he made 19 saves in his debut game for the Owen Sound Attack. He was acquired earlier in the week from the Ottawa 67s in exchange for a conditional pick in the 2019 OHL Priorities Selection Draft. Nick Suzuki would return to the lineup in this one after being cut by Team Canada. Meanwhile, Jonah Gadjevich has been selected, as mentioned, to the 22-man roster for Canada at the 2018 World Junior Tournament in Buffalo. Finally, the Owen Sound Attack wrapped up the 2017 They wrapped up their week with a visit. They were at the Bayshore again. They hosted the London Knights, and it was the Knights in this one. 1-0 was the final. London improving to 18-14, 2-0. They have been on fire of late on the season, while the Owen Sound Attack dropped to 14-13, 1-4 on the year. They have won 1 in their last 8. Olivier Lafreniere getting the start again. He made 13 saves in the loss, while goaltender Joseph Raymakers of the London Knights earned the shutout. It was his 6th career OHL shutout. He made 32 saves. He was unbelievable in the game. Evan Bouchard supplied the only goal for the Knights. It was his 12th of the season. Looking now at your OHL standings, starting in the Western Conference, we have the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, who are number 1. They are 29-3-2-0, good for 60 points. They have won an astonishing 20 games in a row. The Kitchener Rangers are at number 2. They have 44 points, 21 victories, 11 losses, 2 overtime losses, and no shootout losses. The Sarnia Sting are at number 3, 25-8-2-0 on the year, good for 52 points. The Windsor Spitfires at 18-11-2-1 have 39 points. The London Knights are at number 5. From 18, they are up from the number 9 spot to the number 5 spot. They are 18-14-2-0 on the year. Saginaw Spirit hold down the number 6 spot, 17-12-3-0 on the year. While the Guelph Storm are at 7, 17-13-1-2, good for 37 points. The Owen Sound Attack are at number 8, 14-13-1-4. While the Erie Otters and the Flint Firebirds are 9 and 10 respectively in the OHL's Western Conference. Looking over at your East Conference standings, we have the Hamilton Bulldogs leading the way. They are 3-3 on the year, good for 46 points. They hold a 3-point advantage over the second place Barrie Colts, who are 20-10-2-1 on the year. The Kingston Frontenacs are number 3, 17-10-3-3. The Niagara Ice Dogs at number 4, 16-11-3-2. The Ottawa 67s, 15-16-1-2. They have 33 points. The Peterborough Petes are at number 6, 15-16-1-1. You have the Oshawa Generals at number 7. They are 15-17-2-0. And then you have the North Bay Battalion, the Mississauga Steelheads, and the Sudbury Wolves. Looking now at your attack scoring leaders, Nick Suzuki leads the way, 17 and 27, good for 44 points. Sean Dursey has 14 goals and 29 assists, good for 43. Aiden Dudas with 16 and 20. Kevin Hancock with 10 and 19. Maxime Sushko with 16 and 10. Yona Gadjevich with 15 and 11. Ethan Zapula with 5 and 15. Jacob Friend with 3 and 14. Matthew Struthers 8 and 8. And Marcus Phillips rounds out the top 10 with 3 and 13. Looking now at your league scoring leaders in the Ontario Hockey League, we have Jordan Kyrou leading the way with 58 points on 19 goals and 39 assists for the Sarnia Sting. Aaron Luchuk, recently traded to the Barrie Colts, leads the OHL in scoring with 31 goals and 25 assists. He is 2 behind Kyrou. Morgan Frost has been a nice surprise for the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds this year. 19 goals and 36 assists, good for 55 points. Robert Thomas of the London Knights, 20 and 26. Boris Kachuk of the Greyhounds, 27 and 18. Kyle Maximovich of the Erie Otters, 19 and 25. Your Nick Suzuki of your attack is 17 and 27. While Drake Rimsha of the Sarnia Sting, also 17 and 27. Taylor Radish of the Erie Otters, 15 and 29. And Adam Mascarin of the Kitchener Rangers, 23 and 20, good for 43 points. He rounds out the top 10. Up next, for your Owen Sound Attack, as we look ahead on the schedule for when they return, every OHL team is now off until the 28th. That is a Thursday. The Owen Sound Attack are in action that day. They face off against the Kitchener Rangers at the Bayshore in Owen Sound. That goes at 7 p.m. And then they have a home-and-home against the Barrie Colts December 30th and December 31st. Those are both 7:30 puck drops for your Owen Sound Attack. This has been your Owen Sound Attack Report. We'll be right back after this. And coming up, your TST, Total Sports Talk, Christmas Movies Top 10 list. Stick around for that. It should be fun. TST, Total Sports Talk, presents the NHL and the Toronto Maple Leafs Report. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Andrew Rogers here at TST, Total Sports Talk. Thank you very much for joining me, as always. Hopefully you appreciated my little rendition there. That's one of my favorite Christmas tunes. You have a favorite? I'm sure you do. And if you have a favorite Christmas movie, you're going to want to stay tuned, because coming up soon is my TST reveal of my top 10 Christmas movies recommendations. It's actually quite the list. I spent a lot of time on it, and I really gave it a lot of thought. But this, you know what? Hey, it's pretty good, I think. So it could help with your over the holidays for all your Christmas movie watching needs. Anyways, we are at the point now where we want to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs in the NHL report. The Maple Leafs had 3 games this past week. No Saturday game, but that was because of the NHL's 100 Classic between the Montreal Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators, which was outdoors in Ottawa. but the Maple Leafs still play 3 games. Here's your game recaps. The Maple Leafs, they were on the road for 3. They started in Philadelphia against the Flyers, and they fell 4-2 was the final in this one for the Flyers. Philadelphia improving to 12-11-7 on the year, while your Maple Leafs dropped to 20-11-1. Frederik Andersen made 35 saves in the loss. Meanwhile, Brian Elliott of the Philadelphia Flyers made 20 saves in the victory. Scoring for your Toronto Maple Leafs were Patrick Marleau with his 11th and James Van Riemsdyk with his 15th. Adding assists from Morgan Rielly, Mitch Marner, and Zach Hyman. Unfortunately, no Austin Matthews in this one for your Maple Leafs. Scoring for the Philadelphia Flyers, they had 4 different goal scorers. Sean Couturier with his 15th, Claude Giroux with his 13th, Scott Laughton with his 5th, and Travis Konechny with his 4th. Wayne Simmons had an assist for the Flyers. 2 points in the game each for Couturier, Giroux, and Laughton as the Flyers defeat your Toronto Maple Leafs. 4-2 was the final. Maple Leafs then moved on. They were in Minnesota to take on the Minnesota Wild, and it was 2-0 Minnesota was the final in this one. Maple Leafs falling to 20-12-1 on the year, while Minnesota improved to 17-11-3. Goaltender Alex Stalock of the Minnesota Wild made 28 saves. It's his 5th NHL shutout and first since the 2014-2015 season as a member of the San Jose Sharks. Now, Alex Stalock played 3 games with the Toronto Marlies in 2016 after he, alongside Ben Smith, were acquired in a trade February 27, 2016 for James Reimer and Jeremy Morin. He wouldn't see the crease for the Leafs before signing with the Minnesota Wild July 1st, 2016. Minnesota getting goals from Tyler Ennis, his 6th, and Mikael Granlund with his 7th to pace the Minnesota Wild in this one. Eric Stahl, Ryan Suter, and Nino Niederreiter adding assists for the Wild. Frederik Andersen made 24 saves in the defeat. The Leafs would follow up that up the next night. They were in Detroit to face off against the Detroit Red Wings, and unfortunately they would fall. Their 3rd straight defeat. 3-1 was the final for Detroit. Detroit improving to 12-13-7 on the year, while the Maple Leafs dropped to 20-13-1 on the year. Goaltender Curtis McElhinney got the start on the second of a back-to-back. He made 26 saves in the loss, while goaltender Jimmy Howard of the Detroit Red Wings made 25 saves in the victory. Scoring for your Toronto Maple Leafs was Andreas Borgman with his 3rd. It was assisted from Matt Martin and Dominique Moore, while scoring for your Detroit Red Wings were Thomas Tatar, Danny DeKeyser, and Trevor Daley. Henrik Zetterberg added 2 assists, while Nicholas Kronwall added 1. It was Austin Matthews missing the game for his 4th straight contest. They are in desperate need for him if they hope to snap this 3-game losing streak. Now, looking at your NHL standings across the board, we start in the Atlantic. The Tampa Bay Lightning continue to lead the way. They are at 50 points, 24-6-2 on the year. The Maple Leafs slot number 2, 20-13-1, good for 41 points. The Boston Bruins at 16-10-5 have 37 points. The Montreal Canadiens at 14-15-4. The Detroit Red Wings at 12-13-7. The Ottawa Senators are 11-13-7. The Florida Panthers at 12-16-5. And the Buffalo Sabres are at 8-18-7, good for 23 points in the 8th spot in the Atlantic. Moving over to the Metro Division, we got the New Jersey Devils at number 1. They are tied with the Washington Capitals. They both have 43 points apiece. The Columbus Blue Jackets sit 3rd. They are 20-13-1, good for 41 points. The New York Rangers are at number 4. They are 18-12-3, good for 39 points. The New York Islanders also have 39 points. They are 18-12-3. The Pittsburgh Penguins at 17-15-3 are 2 behind at 37 points, while the Carolina Hurricanes, and the Philadelphia Flyers are both at 35 points apiece in the 7 and 8 spot, respectively. Looking now at your Western Conference, we have the Central Division standings. The Nashville Predators lead the way. They are tied with St. Louis for 46 points apiece. They have a 3-point cushion on the 3rd place Winnipeg Jets, who are 19-10-5, good for 43 points. The Chicago Blackhawks are at 17-11-5. They have 39 points. The Dallas Stars at 18-14-2 have 38. The Minnesota Wild at 17-13-3 have 37. The Colorado Avalanche at 16-15-2 at 34 points are at number 7 in the Central. Now finally, the Pacific Division standings. You got the LA Kings at 21-10-4. They have a 2-point cushion over the Vegas Golden Knights, who are off to an unbelievable start. They are 21-9-2 on the year, good for 44 points. If they could go the rest of the way at 500, they would finish with an astonishing 94 points on the season. San Jose Sharks are at 17-11-4. They have 38 points. They are in the 3 spot. The Calgary Flames at number 4, 17-14-3 on the year, good for 37. Anaheim Ducks at 14-12-8, 36 points. The Vancouver Canucks at 34 points. The Edmonton Oilers at 32. And the Arizona Coyotes, very disappointing start to them at the Christmas break here. They are 7-23-5 on the year. They only have an abysmal 19 points. Looking now at your Maple Leafs leaders overall, Austin Matthews, he hasn't played any games. He hasn't budged in the the Leafs leaders. 13 goals, 13 assists for him, good for 26 points. Nazem Kadri, 3 behind at 23. James Van Riemsdyk at 22. He leads the Leafs in goals at 15. Morgan Rielly at 4 and 17 leads all defensemen in scoring. He also leads the team. He's actually 1 behind of Mitch Marner for the assist lead. Marner has 18. He has 20 points. Rielly and Nylander share the 4 spot at 21 points apiece. Patty Marleau has been a nice surprise, 11 and 7 for him, 18 points. Zach Hyman, Jake Gardner, and Connor Brown round out the top 10 for your Maple Leafs. Looking now at your league-leading scorers at this point in the season, we got Nikita Kucherov and Steven Stamkos pacing the way. They are at 46 and 43 respectively. Jakub Voracek has been on a tear for the Flyers, 8 goals and 33 assists, good for 41 points. He holds the assist lead right now in the NHL. Johnny Gaudreau is number 4, 13 and 27, good for 40 points, while John Tavares has 19 and 21 for 40. Connor McDavid for 40, and Josh Bailey, former Owen Sound Attack, 9 goals and 31 assists for him. He has 40 points on the year as well. Anze Kopitar, Blake Wheeler, and Nathan McKinnon round out your top 10 in league leaders for the scoring. Now, so the Maple Leafs have lost 3 in a row. You know what? They win 3, they lose 3. It's not the greatest tactic, but they're in a good spot. They're still second in the Atlantic, and they're right there in the playoff spot. However, Tampa Bay has distanced themselves from them quite a bit, but that's okay. A lot of hockey left, folks. Speaking of which, upcoming for your Toronto Maple Leafs, Tuesday, December 19th, they are in Toronto to face off against Carolina. It's a 2 p.m. start. Note that, folks, as they play each other in the next Century game. It's kind of strange, 2 o'clock game in the afternoon on a Tuesday. It seems kind of weird to me, but to each their own, I guess. A lot of business people will be taking their colleagues out for lunch, I can guarantee it. 2 o'clock p.m. start between the Leafs and the Carolina Hurricanes. That's Tuesday, December 19th. And then Wednesday, December 20th, they are into Columbus to face off against the Blue Jackets. That's a 7:30 puck drop, and then they wrap their week with a matchup Saturday, December 23rd, on Hockey Night in Canada. It's a 7 p.m. puck drop in New York to face off against the New York Rangers. This has been your Maple Leafs report for this week's edition of TST Total Sports Talk. We'll be right back after this, and coming up shortly, we reveal our TST Total Sports Talk Christmas movie top 10 picks, recommendations, just for you, the viewer. We'll be right back after this. TST Total Sports Talk presents the Toronto Raptors and the NBA Report. Welcome back to TST Total Sports Talk. Andrew Rogers here with you. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed the show thus far. If you're wondering why the get up, it's the holidays, man. You gotta love it. 6 days till Christmas. It is Tuesday, December the 19th. I can't wait for the holidays. You know what? I only got 2 work shifts left before I'm on holidays, and I can't wait, man. I need the time off so bad you guys don't even realize. But yes, I get to take a nice little Christmas hiatus from the show. Don't worry, I will be back, I promise. For however many you guys want me back. Anyways, I do enjoy putting out these episodes if you didn't really know, but I'm jacked up for this one, alright? I hope you guys have enjoyed the show thus far. We now turn to the Toronto Raptors report. The Raptors have been sizzling of late. They have won a ton of late. They had 3 games this past week. Here are your game recaps. It was the Toronto Raptors against the Phoenix Suns, and the Toronto Raptors coming out on top in this one. 115-109 was the final. Raptors improving to 18-8 on the year, while the Phoenix Suns dropped to 9-21. Leading the way for the Toronto Raptors was DeMar DeRozan. He scored 37 points and added 7 rebounds. It was a season high for DeMar to lead the Raptors. Serge Ibaka had 21 points and 13 rebounds, while Jonas Valanciunas added 20 and 11. Kyle Lowry chipped in with 12 points and 7 assists, Well, OG Anunoby, I'm going to get that right eventually. He had 9 points in the victory for the Raptors. Like I said, improving to 18-8 on the year. 115-109 was the final over the Phoenix Suns. Raptors. Toronto Raptors back at the ACC to take on the visiting Brooklyn Nets. Raptors victorious in this one. 120-87 was the final. Raptors improving to 19-8 on the year, while the Brooklyn Nets fall to 11-17. Canadian Nick Stauskas led the way for the Brooklyn Nets. He had 22 points and 7 rebounds in the loss. Toronto Raptors' DeMar DeRozan led the way. He scored 31 points for the Raptors, while Serge Ibaka had 18-8 and Jonas Valanciunas with 14-5. Norman Powell had 11 points, while Kyle Lowry chipped in with a triple-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 12 assists, as the Raptors blew out the Brooklyn Nets in this one, 120-87. Like I said, Raptors improving to 19-8 on the season. Raptors would follow that up. They were at the ACC again, as they welcomed in Vince Carter and the Sacramento Kings to the ACC. Raptors victorious in this one. 108-93 was the final. Sacramento falling to 9-20 on the year, while the Raptors improved to 20-8. DeMar DeRozan was 21 points, 5 assists to lead the Raptors, while Kyle Lowry had 16 points and 7 assists. Jonas Valanciunas with the double-double in this one. He had 13 points and 16 rebounds. For the Sacramento Kings, note in this one, a huge ovation for Vince Carter as he played in what could be his potentially last game at the ACC. They gave him multiple ovations, and you know what? It's a big question mark as to whether or not the Raptors will bring Vince Carter in, sign him to a one-year deal next year, or whether or not Vince Carter will simply retire, sign a one-day and retire, or sign a one-day contract and retire as a member of the Toronto Raptors. That remains to be seen, you know. And I'd personally, here's where I stand on it. Vince Carter was a staple for the Toronto Raptors when he played there. Obviously, he didn't go out the way everybody wanted him to. They wanted him to stay there forever. Unfortunately, Vince Carter wanted other things, and that's his right as an NBA superstar. I get that. I wasn't in favor of it, but I get it. The thing is that nobody can take away what Vince Carter did for the Toronto Raptors. Did he do enough to warrant a jersey retirement, or, you know, even 100%. You know what? I say this. You have Vince Carter sign a one-day contract with the Raptors, have him retire as a Raptor, go in to, like, if he gets a Hall of Fame nod, great. Have him go in as a Raptor. And then, yes, retire the number 15. I think it's definitely deserving of Vince Carter. He transformed and put the Raptors on the map. Retire Vince Carter's number 15, in my opinion. Looking now at your NBA standings, we start in the Eastern Conference. We got the Boston Celtics at 26-7. They are number 1. The Cleveland Cavaliers at 23-8 are 2 games behind at number 2. The Raptors come in at number 3 at 20-8. They are 3.5 games behind. Detroit Pistons are 17-13. Indiana Pacers 17-14. Milwaukee Bucks at 15-13. Washington Wizards at 16-14. New York Knicks in the 8th spot, 16-14. Miami Heat at 15-15. They are 500. While the Philadelphia 76ers are 1 game below, 14-15 on the year. Brooklyn Nets at 11-18, Charlotte Hornets at 11-19, the Orlando Magic at 11-20. You got the Chicago Bulls at 9-20, and the Atlanta Hawks are just abysmal to start. They are 7-23 on the year. They are 17.5 games behind the first place Boston Celtics. Flipping over to the Western Conference now, you got the Houston Rockets at 25-4. They are first in the Western Conference. They are 1.5 games better than the Golden State Warriors, who are 24-6. Number 3 is the San Antonio Spurs at 21-10. They are 5 games behind Houston. Minnesota Timberwolves 18-13. Portland Trailblazers 16-14. Denver Nuggets 16-14. New Orleans Pelicans at 15-15. Oklahoma City Thunder at 15-15. The Utah Jazz at 14-17. You got the LA Clippers at 11-18. The LA Lakers at 10-18. The Phoenix Suns at 11-21. The Sacramento Kings at 9-20, the Memphis Grizzlies at 9-21, and the Dallas Mavericks at 8-23, 18 games behind the Houston Rockets. Now, like I said, Raptors, they have won a ton in a row. Let's see here. We count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have won 9 of the last 10. They are absolutely streaking right now, and they look to keep that going. As next up for your Toronto Raptors, Wednesday, December 20th, they are in Charlotte to face off against the Charlotte Hornets. That's a 7 p.m. tilt, Wednesday, December 20th. Thursday, December 21st, they are in Philadelphia to face off against the 76ers. That's a 7 p.m. tip-off. And then they follow that up back at the ACC, where they bring in the same Philadelphia 76ers team. That's a 5 p.m. start on Saturday, December 23rd. And that is your Toronto Raptors report for this week's episode of TST, Total Sports Talk. We have more segments to go. It's the NFL report. It's coming up right after this. TST, Total Sports Talk, presents the NFL report. Ho, 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 everyone. Welcome back. TST, Total Sports Talk. Andrew Rogers, the host, here with you. Hope you're enjoying the episode thus far. I have definitely enjoyed giving it to you. So, many thanks for those who are watching. We reach now the time in the program where we talk about the NFL. Boy, we are getting down to the nitty-gritty of it. We are 2 weeks left until the playoffs start. It was a very exciting week of games that happened this past week in the NFL. Let's get you caught up on those right now. Brock Osweiler went 12 of 17 for 194 yards and 2 touchdowns, as well as a rush touchdown in relief of an injured Trevor Siemian. C.J. Anderson rushed 30 times for 158 yards as the Denver Broncos defeated the Indianapolis Colts. 25-13 was the final. Denver improved to 5-9, while Indy drops to 3-11. The Detroit Lions improved to 8-6 with a 20-10 victory over the Chicago Bears, who dropped to 4-10. Matt Stafford, 25 of 33 for 237 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Kansas City Chiefs knocked off the LA Chargers. 30-13 was the final. Kansas City improving to 8-6, while the Chargers dropped to 7-7. Kareem Hunt rushed 24 times for 155 yards and a touchdown. He also caught 7 passes for 51 yards and a touchdown through the air. The Buffalo Bills knocked off the Miami Dolphins. 24-16 was the final. Buffalo improving to 8-6, while the Miami Dolphins dropped to 6-8. Tyrod Taylor, very efficient in the game, 17 of 29, 224 yards and a touchdown. He also rushed 6 times for 42 yards and a touchdown on the ground. The Carolina Panthers defeated the Green Bay Packers 31-24 to improve to 10-4 on the year, while Green Bay drops to 7-7. Cam Newton was excellent in the game, 20 of 31, 242 yards, 4 touchdowns. He rushed 14 times for 58 yards on top of that, spoiling the return of Aaron Rodgers, who threw for 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Carolina, huge win there at Green Bay against the Green Bay Packers. The Baltimore Ravens defeated the Cleveland Browns for it was the Cleveland Browns' 14th loss in 14 games. 27-10 was the final. Baltimore improving to 8-6 on the year. Joe Flacco was 26 of 42 for 288 yards and a touchdown there. In that one, we had the Jacksonville Jaguars winning over the Houston Texans. 45-7 was the final. Houston dropping to 4-10, while the Jacksonville Jaguars, by moving to 10-4, they clinched their first playoff appearance. For the first time, they will play in the postseason since 2007. Just absolutely incredible for the Jaguars. Congratulations to them. Blake Bortles was unbelievable again for the 4th consecutive week. 21 of 29, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns. Wide receiver Keelan Cole of the Jaguars was massive in this game. 7 catches for 186 yards and a touchdown in the victory. The Minnesota Vikings defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 34-7. Minnesota moving to 11-3, and they clinch the NFC North with the victory. Case Keenum, very good in the game, 20 of 23 for 236 yards and 2 touchdowns. The New Orleans Saints defeated the New York Jets 31-19. New Orleans improving to 10-4, while the Jets fall to 5-9. Drew Brees went 26 of 36 for 285 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also threw an interception in the game. He was very, very good, and it's a huge win for the Saints in this one. The Philadelphia Eagles moved to 12-2 on the year with the 34-29 victory over the New York Giants. Nick Foles went 24 of 38 for 237 yards and 4 touchdowns in his first appearance after the injury to Carson Wentz last week. With the victory, the Eagles clinch a first-round playoff bye. The Eagles, they ruined the Giants' Eli Manning's performance in the game. He threw for 434 yards in the loss. The Washington Redskins defeated the Arizona Cardinals 20-15. Washington improving to 6-8, while Arizona dropped to 6-8. Kirk Cousins went 18 of 26 for 196 yards and 2 touchdowns. The LA Rams demolished the Seattle Seahawks. 42-7 was the final. The LA Rams improving to 10-4, while the Seahawks dropped to 8-6. Todd Gurley had himself a career day, 21 rushes for 152 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also caught 3 passes for 28 yards and a touchdown, accumulated for 4 total in the game. He was unbelievable for the Rams. The New England Patriots defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-24. The New England Patriots improved to 11-3, while the Steelers dropped to 11-3. Rob Gronkowski had caught 9 passes for 168 yards in the victory. It didn't come without controversy, however, as a overturned touchdown from the Steelers' Jesse James was called back, and Pittsburgh's Ben Roethlisberger was then intercepted in the end zone to clinch the victory for the Patriots. The San Francisco 49ers continue to win. They defeated the Tennessee Titans 25-23 on the strength of Robbie Gould. He was just absolutely unbelievable in this game. San Francisco improving to 4-10, while the Titans dropped to 8-6. Jimmy Garoppolo, since coming over, has been unbelievable to say the least. He threw 31 of 43 for 381 yards, and he added a touchdown. In the Sunday Nighter this past week, the Dallas Cowboys defeated the Oakland Raiders 20-17. Dallas improving 8-6, while Oakland drops to 6-8. Alfred Morris rushed 16 times for 61 yards for the Cowboys. Oakland had a chance to win the game on a winning drive. However, Oakland's Derek Carr fumbled the ball near the goal line, and it was called back on a touchback, and that essentially ended the game for the Raiders. Atlanta Falcons defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. It was 24-21 was the final. Atlanta improving to 9-5, while the Buccaneers dropped to 4-10. The Buccaneers were very good in the game, though, as Jameis Winston had a chance late, drove him all the way down the field, and unfortunately a field goal attempt that come up just short, a 54-yarder, went wide right, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were unable to tie the game. Devontae Freeman was unbelievable for the Falcons in this one. He rushed 22 times for 126 yards and a touchdown, while adding 5 catches for 68 yards. Good for 194 all-purpose yards for Freeman. Also of note, from the Pittsburgh Steelers loss to the New England Patriots, Antonio Brown partially tears his calf muscle. He may be able to return for the playoffs. And finally, the Atlanta Falcons victory over the Buccaneers ensures that the Falcons that the Falcons win. They improved to 9-5. Thus, also they do so by eliminating the Green Bay Packers. They've been officially eliminated from postseason contention. Also, with the New England victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Patriots clinch the AFC East title. Looking now at your statistical leaders for the NFL in Week 15, we start with the quarterbacks. We have Eli Manning of the Giants, who went 37 of 57 for 434 yards. He threw 3 touchdowns and an interception. Jimmy Garoppolo is number 2 from the 49ers, 31 of 43, 381 yards and a touchdown. Blake Bortles of Jacksonville went 21 of 29 for 326 yards and 3 touchdowns. While Mitchell Trubisky of the Chicago Bears, 31 of 46, 314 yards, 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. Jameis Winston comes in at number 5. He went 27 of 35 for 299 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco, Drew Brees, and Ben Roethlisberger round out your top 10. In terms of your rushing leaders, C.J. Anderson led the way, 30 rushes for 158 yards. Kareem Hunt at number 2 for the Kansas City Chiefs, 24 for 155 and a touchdown. Todd Gurley, 21 for 152 and 3 touchdowns. While you had Devontae Freeman rushing 22 times for 126 yards and a touchdown. And Le'Veon Bell for 24 and 117 and a touchdown. Kenyon Drake, Melvin Gordon, Marshawn Lynch, Latavius Murray, and Mark Ingram round out your top 10 rushers on the week. And your receiving leaders for the week in Week 15, we had Keelan Cole of the Jacksonville Jaguars, 7 catches for 186 yards and a touchdown. Rob Gronkowski, number 2 for the Patriots, 9 receptions for 168 yards. Sterling Shepard for the New York Giants, 11 catches for 139 yards and a touchdown. While Carolina Panther Greg Olsen came in at number 4, 9 catches, 116 yards and a touchdown. And San Francisco's Marquise Goodwin, 10 catches for 114 yards for him. Jerick McKinnon, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jarvis Landry, Rashad Matthews, and Michael Thomas of the New Orleans Saints round out your top 10 for your NFL receiving leaders. Looking now at your playoff picture scenarios, in the AFC you have New England Patriots at 11-3, they are in number 1 seed. The Pittsburgh Steelers at 11-3 are the number 2. Jacksonville Jaguars at 10-4 are number 3. The Kansas City Chiefs at 8-6 are at number 4. The Tennessee Titans hold the number 5 spot at 8-6, and the Buffalo Bills at 8-6 are at number 6. On the bubble, you have the Baltimore Ravens at 8-6, the LA Chargers at 7-7, the Oakland Raiders at 6-8, and the Miami Dolphins at 6-8. Flipping over to the NFC, we have the Philadelphia Eagles at 12-2. They are in the number 1 seed. The Minnesota Vikings at number 2 at 11-3. You have the LA Rams at 10-4 and the New Orleans Saints at 10-4 in the 3-4 spot. The Carolina Panthers are at 10-4. They are number 5. And the Atlanta Falcons are at 9-5, number 6. A full game ahead of the Detroit Lions, the Seattle Seahawks, and Dallas Cowboys, who all hold records of 8-6. Looking ahead to your Week 16 schedule, it's a dandy, and it does start Saturday, December the 23rd, as we have 2 games, one at 4:30 between the Indianapolis Colts and the Baltimore Ravens. Colts at 3-11, Baltimore at 8-6. That goes at 4:30. And then at the 8:30 game has the Minnesota Vikings at 11-3 against the Green Bay Packers at 7-7. That's an 8:30 p.m. kickoff, Saturday, December 23rd. The Sunday games get going on Christmas Eve. Starting at 1 p.m., we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Carolina Panthers. Tampa Bay at 4-10, Carolina at 10-4. The 0-14 Browns are into Chicago to face off against the Bears at 4-10. The Detroit Lions at 8-6 are into Cincinnati to face off against the Bengals, who are at 5-9. You got the Miami Dolphins at 6-8 against the Kansas City Chiefs at 8-6. Game of the week candidate, the Buffalo Bills into New England to face off against the Patriots. Bills at 8-6, while the New England Patriots are 11-3. Another game of the week candidate has the Atlanta Falcons at 9-5 into New Orleans to the Bayou to face off against the Saints at 10-4. The LA Chargers at 7-7 are into New York to face off against the Jets, who are at 5-9. You have the Rams and the Titans, another game of the week candidate. The Rams at 10-4, while the Titans are at 8-6. Denver Broncos at 5-9 into Washington to face off against the Redskins, 6-8, Boarfest. Jacksonville Jaguars looking to clinch the AFC South. They can do so with a victory. They are on the road in San Francisco against the 4-10 49ers. Jacksonville holding a record of 10-4. That one goes at 4:05 p.m. Christmas Eve. You have the New York Giants at 2-12 in Arizona to face off against Cardinals at 6-8. That goes at 4:25. And the America's game of the week, I guess, as according to Fox, Seattle at 8-6 against Dallas at 8-6. That goes at 4:25. No Sunday evening game, as there are 2 games Christmas Day starting at 4:30 p.m. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers 11-3 into Houston to face off against the Texans. That goes at 4:30. And your final game for Week 16 is the Oakland Raiders at 6-8 against the Philadelphia Eagles at 12-2, Monday, December 25th at 8:30. What we are also paying attention to, as we've done each and every week since Week 3 of the NFL season, here at TST, we've employed, I've reached out to some of my friends, the so-called TST NFL Games Picks experts, and I've been asking them for their picks every week and tallying them up and seeing who is going to come out on top. So as we stand right now, Sean Smuck leads the way. He went 11-5 last week. He's 125-68. He holds a 3-game advantage on Andrew Warren, Marcus Ripson, and Jason Antonori. Shout out to Jason for going 14-2 last week and an absolutely unbelievable week for him. Mike Story at 8-8. Mike Flanagan 11-5 last week. Myself went 13-3, and I'm still way out. And my wife Jessica Rogers she had a nice week at 12-4. But we are 14, 14, 15, and 19 games back respectively. So I don't think we're going to catch them anytime soon. But it's a dog race for the number 1 seed, as there are 3 teams within striking distance, 3 games behind. With 32 games left on the schedule starting this upcoming week with the next slew of 16, it's really anybody's game at this point. They can change at the drop of a hat. All Smuck has to do is hold on tight, and that remains to be seen, but it should be an interesting finish. I am definitely very much so looking forward to that. That has been your NFL report for this week's edition of TST Total Sports Talk. We'll be right back after this. Stick around because coming up next is your Christmas movie top 10 recommendation as set out by myself. You can like it, hate it, I really don't care. I'm going to give it to you anyways. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the program, everybody. Andrew Rogers here for TST Total Sports Talk. Thank you very much for joining me, as always. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys, bringing you TST episodes week after week after week. I've thoroughly enjoyed them. And you know what? Hey, 15 weeks. I mean, it's hard to believe that it's already been 15 episodes of TST since I stated that I was coming back. And it's been really good. I've been really excited about how this has been going. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. Really, honestly, I do. I really encourage your feedback week after week. And if you have anything that you want to ask me, I will gladly answer it right here on the program, TST, Total Sports Talk. Now, without further ado, here is my Christmas movies top 10 list as inspired by me. The movies that I love. And you know what? If you don't like the list, that's fine. If you have a different rendition, that's fine too. Spoiler alert, Die Hard is not included on this list. I have not seen it, nor do I think that it's a Christmas movie, because everybody I've talked to has said, no, not a Christmas movie. I don't care that they play Christmas movie at the end, or Christmas music at the end. No. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. Come on, man. You know what? I don't need to watch the movie to prove to me that it's not a Christmas movie. I just know it's not, okay? The movies that I've selected here are bona fide Christmas movies, okay? Let's just start. Here's my top 10. Coming in at number 10, Adam Sandler stars in 8 Crazy Nights. In at number 9, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Turbo Man in Jingle All the Way. Number 8 is the animated version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Instant classic. This one is a real good one for the family. Coming in at number 7, you have Home Alone 2, not Home Alone 1, because that is also on this list, as you'll see. But Home Alone 2, it's not as good as 1, but it's good enough to be on this top 10. It's the 1 and 2 are really the best out of all of them, in my personal opinion. Coming in at number 6, Michael Keaton stars in Jack Frost. This is an unbelievable movie. If you haven't seen it, it's a real tearjerker, man. Oh, it just eats at the heartstrings. Coming in at number 5, Tim Allen in the Santa Claus. This is the first of the 3. It's the best one, clearly, of all, in my opinion. It's a very, very good, very, very heartwarming movie. It's just unbelievable, and Tim Allen is wonderful in it. Coming in at number 4, Will Ferrell stars in Elf. Again, it's a fantastic movie. You gotta love it. You know, Will Ferrell's character trying to instill Christmas spirit into everybody, and it's got a number of great actors, and Will Ferrell's excellent in it, and it's a great holiday must. Coming in at number 4 is Elf. Coming in at number 3, Macaulay Culkin stars in Home Alone. Yes, Home Alone is my number 3 pick. This movie's just awesome. I mean, I can't let a Christmas holiday go by without watching Home Alone at least a dozen times. I'm sorry, like, it's just fantastic. This movie's great. You got Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. They're just absolutely hilarious. And you know what? Every time you see something happen to them, you think, how are they still alive? This movie's awesome. Home Alone is the number 3 pick on my Christmas movie top 10 list. Coming in at number 2 is Jim Carrey's adaptation of The Grinch. Yes, you know what? Jim Carrey is outstanding. How he was able to portray the Grinch was just phenomenal. This movie is great. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, and I may watch it about 5,000 or 6,000 more times before the holiday season is up and over. It's an unbelievable movie. I can't, you know what? I remember going back to my high school days. When this movie first came out alongside Shrek, back on in the days of VHS. I would sit in high school around the Christmas vacation time, nearing the end of the semester, and they would play this movie in the classrooms because they had nothing to teach at that point because it was exam time, whatever. But it was just awesome. this movie's just fantastic. It's a real good one. And finally, without further ado, coming in at number 1, if you haven't guessed it already, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, starring Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo. This movie is just awesome. Like, I'm sorry, man, but that whole scene with Clark and he's just reaming out the entire family. Oh, man, it's just awesome. Like, I mean, come on. You know, I love it. He's like, if anybody's thinking of getting me a Christmas gift this year, I have one. I'd like Frank Shirley, my boss, right here tonight, with a big ribbon on his head. And I'd like to look him straight in the eye, and I'd like to tell him what a cheap, lying, no good, rotten, four-fleshing, bone-licking, deer-licking, ugless, beardless, worthless piece of monkey shit he is. Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol? I'm sorry, man. I couldn't resist. It's probably the best part and the single best part in the entire movie, which is filled with great parts. But man, is that awesome! I guess I can't get enough. I really can't. But yes, that is my TST Total Sports Talks recommended sports top 10, Christmas movie top 10 list recommended to you, the viewer. You know what? With that wraps this week's episode of TST. It's season 2, episode 15. It's my last episode before my Christmas break, and I have this final thing to add, man. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a joyous New Year to all of you out there. And thank you very much for watching TST Total Sports Talk. I'm your host, Andrew Rogers, and we'll see you again in the new year. Take care, everybody, and so long.